getting ready to change out the transmission fluid, and I'm going to break off the fill up at the top there. As you can kind of see, it's a 17 millimeter, and then the drain is actually just using the ratchet. And one thing I did not see before was this. Looks like it's been hit for some reason, somehow or another, but that little cross member, like I said, didn't see that before. But I don't see any other damage or anything besides that. Kind of an unusual place. Must have hit something though. It's pretty easy to get the fill off. Anytime I have trying to get anything off, I like to use a rubber mallet. It seems to make it a whole lot easier. Just hit it a few times and it just breaks free. So, looks like we'll be changing the transmission fluid. This is the manual transmission fluid that we're putting in today. Royal Purple, Synchromax. And it's what was recommended by that YouTuber LHT Performance. They work on a lot of S2000s, so I figured it would work for me if it works for them. So I paid $16.25 for it, or $16.29 for it for this quart, and of course you need 2 quarts to fill it up. So that's what we're putting in. You can see I've got both the top fill off and the bottom, and it is draining. So we're on our way. We're committed now. So. It's a little bit tight under here, but it just makes me nervous to get under cars, even if they are on sturdy jack stands. But I put the jack stands up at the lowest setting. But so here you can see just the simple pump that pumps that manual transmission fluid back into the transmission. Next thing we're doing today is the rear differential fluid. So gonna work on that, get that changed out. I've got some Mobil 1 synthetic oil, 75W140, and it has the friction modifier in it, so that's a good thing. But that's what we're gonna put in the rear diff right now. It's the next day, and I wasn't able to do the rear differential fluid yesterday, but it was because I didn't have a 23 millimeter socket. So I didn't realize it took 23. I had a 24, but that also needed the 23 as well. So anyway, I'm going to finish out the fluids, at least the transmission and the rear diff. We won't do the brakes or the coolant just yet. So anyway, we're gonna get started with that right now. Here's the fill plug here on the rear diff, and I knew it was a tight space in there between this cross member and the plug. I bought the 23 millimeter. It goes, fits on there, but you have no space to work with. But you have to have a 1/2-inch drive. At least I didn't have anything that was a 1/2-inch drive that would fit back there. So instead, I had to run to Menards and just got a cheap 23 millimeter Master Force or whatever. So Let's see if we can break that drain fill, that fill plug free first. Here's the drain plug. Got some sludge on it for sure. Can't really see much in the way of metal shavings, but yeah, I'm sure there's some in here. I don't know if you can see, but you can actually see the metal shavings on this towel. Ain't no surprise that there are shavings on here, but I was just looking at the rag and it was just kind of glistening or sparkling, and it's because of those shavings. So it's kind of hard to pick out. There you can kind of see a little bit, I think. But yeah, so no surprise, there's a few shavings there. You see I've got the pump and the fill plug, or where the fill goes. I didn't show the draining of it, but I drained it out, cleaned off the drain plug. One thing I always have a hard time with, I guess I'm using the wrong tube, because this is about as far as I get before I reach the end of the tube, the bottom of the tube. So, and I still got a little bit to go to fill it up to the top, I think. So. I didn't get a longer tube. I just ended up putting it in a Pyrex measuring cup until it started flowing out. It started coming out, so we're good. It's all full. So, another one done. Right now, I'm going to change out the Serpentine belt. It's really hard to pick it up on the camera here, but it is really bad. It's all cracked. I can see that it's cracked right down there. And I don't know how old it is, but I have one here. It's an OEM. There's the part. So we're going to see if we can change it out. First step in changing out the Serpentine belt is obviously to get the old one off. So I've got a 14mm socket, and here's the tensioner. And so we'll just loosen that old one by removing the tension on the pulley. See, I've got it off. Just make sure I know which direction it goes whenever I put the new one back on. You can see the difference between the two. Obviously the new one is on the right, the old is on the left. You see the left one is frayed on the edges. Really, it's hard to see, but it's definitely got some cracking in the old one. Then anyways, the new one obviously isn't going to have any cracking on it. So there's a good picture of the two. So. All right, my spotlight went out on me. Needs to be recharged, but in my floor light over here, bulb burned out first thing this morning, so I'm kind of working with limited light here, but You see that I've got it pretty much back on, except it still needs to go around the tensioner. I just worked from side to side, starting with the right side and then moved over to the left side once or twice to get it worked back on. So all I gotta do now is just get it around the tensioner and should be good to go. All right, that's it. I think we're on. I had to really put some tension on that. I had to really pull on that tensioner, but it looks like it's on and we're good to go. So walk around this side, make sure it's the right way here. Looks good to me. We'll call that done. One thing I didn't show a while ago was the belt indicator there. You can see that there's the mark here. So I didn't check it before to see where it was in relation to this little square rectangle, but I'm assuming it was probably over here just to indicate that it's been stretched out and needed to be replaced. But now you can see that the indicator is well into that first rectangle, and that's a new belt for you.